Youth between the ages of 12 and 18 who are accused of committing a criminal offense are governed by the Youth Criminal Justice Act. This act requires youth to be dealt with in special youth court, separate from adult criminal court. The act recognizes that youths are responsible for their behavior differently than adults are. Not all police matters that involve youth end up in court. Many cases are resolved out of court in special programs that help youth take responsibility for their behavior and provide appropriate consequences. The police and Crown attorneys are able to refer eligible youth to these programs. Out-of-court programs might require the young person to apologize, perform some community service work, attend counseling, and/or pay restitution for damage done or loss caused. If your case is considered for an out-of-court program, you will be notified. Cases that are dealt with in court can begin with the young person in custody or out of custody, depending on whether they have been released by the police or a judicial officer at the time of arrest. Youth held in custody are generally held at the Manitoba Youth Centre at 170 Doncaster Street in Winnipeg. They appear before a judge in a courtroom at the Manitoba Youth Centre and can usually apply for release from this court. At least 2 lawyers are involved in each case. The Crown Attorney has the responsibility to prosecute the case. A defense lawyer represents the young person. Legal Aid Manitoba provides lawyers to represent young persons who have not hired a lawyer privately. Legal Aid Duty Council assists all young persons that do not already have a lawyer. Duty Council may be a lawyer or an articling student working under the supervision of a lawyer. Duty Council can assist the young person to apply for legal aid for their own lawyer. Duty Council can also represent a young person by preparing an appropriate plan for their release and asking the judge to release the young person. In some situations, Duty Council can assist a young person to do a simple guilty plea. Please contact Legal Aid Manitoba for more information about Duty Council services or eligibility for legal aid. If youth are not eligible through legal aid for their own lawyer, they can ask the court to appoint a lawyer for them. The Youth Criminal Justice Act gives the court power to appoint a lawyer for a young person. Courtrooms dealing with youth are open to the public, although the courtroom at the Manitoba Youth Centre is very small and can usually only accommodate people connected with one case at a time. Parents and guardians are welcome and encouraged to attend. Parents and guardians are asked to wait in the court waiting room until their case is called. A youth who was not released upon arrest by a judicial officer or the police will generally appear in court on the next court day. Court is held at the Manitoba Youth Centre Monday through Friday for bail applications at 2 p.m. Sheriff officers are always present to make sure court is not disrupted by improper behavior. When a young person has been released by the court, the police, or a judicial officer, their court appearance will usually be at the Law Courts Building, 408 York Avenue in Winnipeg. Youths whose cases occurred outside Winnipeg will appear in the youth court in the court location nearest to where the case occurred. The release documents will have the next court date and location printed on them. Not all youth cases are ready for a release or bail application the first time they appear before a judge. Sometimes it is necessary for the Crown or defense lawyer to request the case be put over or remanded to allow the lawyers more time to prepare for the bail application. If you are released, the conditions of your release or court-ordered rules will be given to you in writing and explained to you. Once a judge decides if a young person is to be released or not, defense counsel and the youth will review the charges and decide the best steps to move the case to an appropriate conclusion as quickly as possible. If you are involved in a youth justice system case, please make sure you ask duty counsel, your lawyer, or a court officer to answer any questions you may have. It is very important that young persons and their parents and guardians understand the youth justice process that applies to their case. Even though court staff cannot give legal advice, Every effort will be made to assist youth and guardians with understanding the court process.